Welcome to Talk to Brazil with Tom Reaoch, the business connector to business in Brazil. Welcome to Talk to Brazil, the business connection, a leading Brazil business podcast talking about business in the world. I'm Tom Reaoch, living in Brazil, known for business networking and talking from my podcast studio in Campinas, São Paulo, Brazil. Today's guest is Andre Chaves, and he's talking with us from his office in São Paulo, Brazil. Andre is Chief Growth Officer at Squadra Ventures, focused on business development of innovation and technology-driven projects. He is also Strategic Advisor to bettrAds, an AI Adtech SAAS Platform that empowers marketing teams to get more performance on their ad campaigns. And he's also founder of Leme Growth, helping companies and startups in technology, media, and communication segment to digital transformation and to identify innovative growth alternatives. Andre is also a volunteer and co-founder of Future Hacker, exploring new paths, new discoveries, and new thoughts that should become reality in 10, 20, 30 years. So with that, Andre, welcome to Talk to Brazil Business Connection.
Hi, Tom. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak here to your audience.
And thanks for being here, Andre. We're talking. I mentioned that you're working with the future hacker of realities that could become reality in 10, 20, 30 years. What we see is that the future is at 10, 20, 30 minutes, something's changing, right? So We've seen that the global market has become one market. And probably the next 10 years, we'll see markets in other planets. There are companies reaching out to the moon, to Mars, to wherever. So what's the outlook for 2021 of tech-driven projects here in Brazil?
Well, Tom, go straight to the point. I believe that tech-driven projects will continue to be the great protagonist of the transformation of people's lives. This is happening in the recent decades, but now it's accelerating. In the world, in Brazil, is not so different. In this new environment that we live in today, we accelerate trends. Some marketers will have the great effort to change, and digital transformation is not longer an option. It's a question of survival.
Right.
As you said in the introduction, I have a personal project called Future Hacker. I'm talking weekly with people are operating, designing, and projecting this new future. And I'm watching very carefully all this transformation in practice. Not only about the trends, but the practice. Mm-hmm. We are talking about machine learning, AI, blockchain, clean energy, ESG, and some controversial issues like biohacking, singularity, and immortality.
What's immortality?
Yes. I think it's the second interview that we did, and Future Hacker was Albert de Grey. He's an England scientist. He's talking about immortality, but to prolong your life. Mm-hmm. So he's a very, very controversial person, but is bright. And he's not talking about, not in terms of immortality, but in terms of if you know about all your DNA, you can prevent some issues, prevent some problems that you have in the future. So they have a thesis that if you can predict what happens for you in 5, 10, and 20 years, you can, and you change something now, you can prolong your life. Mm-hmm. So it's very, very nice interviewed, if you can see, Albert de Grey.
Mm. So I agree with you. Ever since time, everybody's been interested in living longer. And as we've gone through the different wellness and different training programs, people have been interested in staying alive, literally. And this comes to the point, and we are all living longer. Even the recent pandemic has shown that. You talked about the DNA, the amount of research that came on board very quickly and globally about a virus, about solutions, and about the DNA. It's just amazing that how fast things have happened. And when you were talking about artificial intelligence, the input coming from that for solution.
Exactly.
So when you're talking practice, so what you see in and through the future hacker, that there are practices. It's not the tendencies. It's not people thinking about doing something. They're actually doing it.
Yes, I talk with the futuralists and the people, but I think the best interviews when are talking with the people that are changing by hand the future. For example, one guy, David Lowand, he worked for the cryptocurrency funds in the United States. And now he worked for regularization for this kind. So another person is a nutritionist. And you're talking about the Nutrigenome, the project. So these guys are working the projects for the future now. Mm-hmm. And when you're talking about, for example, many people talking about artificial intelligence, I think is the wave about artificial intelligence. But artificial intelligence works with legacy in the past, not the future.
Right.
Okay. I have the best way, the best solutions, but or works only with the past. So now you were talking with the people that created and designed the new future. So is bigger than the artificial intelligence.
Help me with, you're Brazilian, and for our audience, one of the things that I defend, and this is a cultural aspect. Brazilians seem to be more interested in the past and not so interested in the future. When we look out into the world, we have other cultures that seem to be more interested in the future and less interested in the past. How do you feel about that?
Yes, I'm absolutely sure about this. And I have this project, the Future Hacker, and showed me this is difference. Because, for example, when you're talking about when interviewed the people about Brazilian people, he's talking about only about artificial intelligence and this, and we're talking about the same subject with the foreign people. He's talking about the future. It is very, very assertive that you said. Is a culture. I don't know. Brazil is a big, but have some the close perspective about the country, the work for the country. And this is a reason why you don't have any international ways, for example, the magazines. Only the project here is from Brazil. So this is a reason why I'd like to...
And even more locally. Most projects are local. They're not even national here.
Yes, if we don't have websites, magazines, newspaper, only for our locally in Brazil. So this is the reason why I had the insight to create something for abroad.
So Future Hacker today, it's not a Brazilian-focused future. You've expanded that to the world.
No, yes, absolutely, yes. Is a project that I not want to segment because I don't believe in. I think segmentation, you close the view. I like the spread, the possibility. As a data that work is better when you work a lot of data. For example, if you have a data mining, is the best when you have a much more data that you have. And I think it's the same for this kind of the project. I like the most different point of view about some subjects. For example, I asked for some people about innovation. For example, innovation is when you're talking about the values, the morals, the many aspects, human aspects for innovation. So I'd like to have a point of view about one guy that work with innovation, but the another, the human behavior, psychologists, anthropologists, sociologists. I think it's very nice when you have a different point of view and debate between this kind of. I think that it's very nice for audience when you have this discussion, the debate, and the audience has the power of curadory and what the way that you are pursuing.
No, and then you do tend to bring together a number of different points of view of the same thing.
Exactly. Yes, I love this. I remember when I saw one magazine, the New Yorker. I think it's 5 years ago, and is about a critic about one CD, a Brazilian CD, the code that Tonze. And it's very nice because you have the left side are very critical about the CD, very positive. And the right side, the negative, and the show the both for this. I think it's very nice because I'm feel is right or is not right. I don't know. You have to do this curadory. And I remember as the beginning of the Future Hacker, I was in a bar for a friend of mine. And the waitress said me, Andre, I love your podcast, and I understand nothing about what you say. and I say, okay, and what do you do after? Okay, I saw in the Google talking about integral theory, U theory, etc. And now I can discuss about this.
Right.
I think it's very nice because the waitress... don't understand nothing about the subject, go to the Google and try to search about the subject. And now they can discussing a little bit about this. I love this.
I think that's a good point. That's a good point, Andre, because what I found is obviously you find people who may not know something about a specific topic, but everybody knows something about something. And
exactly,
when you have the ability of finding the information about anything, like what you just mentioned, so a person who may not understand what you just mentioned, but you can go to a platform, can find information, and can develop a mutual understanding. What I see, and I'd like your point on this, talking now about Squadra Ventures, we see a lot of ventures, a lot of startups. And again, what we see when we look out into the world, most startups try to create a multifunctional team, and many try to create a multicultural team, really to the point that you mentioned, to have really different points of view within the same company as it starts. What I've seen on the other side here in Brazil, many startup companies tend to be the same. They tend to have just the same type of team workers. What's your view on that?
Yes, I think that, for example, nowadays, I talking with startups every day, and I saw a little changes in the past. For example, if you have a comparison between now and 2-3 years ago, now this company is more prepared to competition, international competition. He talked about the solution, a worldwide solution. Now is a little different because now I think it's more maturity, this market in Brazil. But for example, if 2 years ago, no, because all the solutions is only the same that you were talking in the beginning, is only local solutions. But now I think it's more prepared to have a different diversity of the teamwork. And now a lot of startups that I look now is have a possibility to compete internationally.
And let's say more multicultural team members.
Yes. One thing that I never see anytime is a mutual, how do you say, not multicultural, but for example, for two countries create one program that could be a exchange between the two countries. For example, I interviewed one guy, John Borja. He's a director of startups Portugal, and this is a topic that I asked him. If is possibility to have, for example, a startup with Portuguese and Brazil, because, for example, in Portugal, you have a different mindset from Brazil, because Portugal is a few market, is a little market.
No, but it's also a European focus.
Yes, and is similar with Israel. That the market is 10 million people, is very, very small. They talking about for the world, the project. And if you add this mindset for Portugal with the creativity and resilience for Brazilian, because Brazil is not easy, it's not for amateurs.
That's true.
Brazil is not, I know is huge. Is a very, you have a scalability, is a giant, but it's not for amateurs. But if you add these two competence, I think it's very, very nice. And nowadays, I never see one example like this.
But your point, I want to get back to your point, and I agree with you, where you say that Brazil is not easy. But for companies that do accept the challenge of coming to Brazil, and there are many international companies. You mentioned Israel. There are many Israeli companies here looking. They're very innovative. They're very creative. They're very open. So they accept the challenge. Other countries do that and come and understand that it's not easy. But if it were easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
Yes. There's a protection.
No, but there's opportunity in things that are not easy.
No, but I now that's funny. But I believe that here for international marketing can see here as an opportunity. In business terms, we have a country of giant scale. We have adapt of new technology solutions or service. It's clear that you have a great challenger such as tax, bureaucracy, but we are gradually managing to create conditions for growth and recursive consumption.
Well, I know, and I agree with you. You don't like to do segmentation, but if we talk about agriculture, if we talk about energy markets, if we talk about fintechs, Brazil has been a leader, has led in technology and innovation in a number of these sectors. So there are opportunities, and because of scale, when you're talking of a continental-sized country, there is a payback. So if you do make it right in Brazil, your payback could be very high.
Yes, perfect. And now, for example, you have, I think it's 14 unicorns. I think the majority of this is fintechs.
Right.
I think is now this on. I hate to say, I think that this moment is a very great moment for this kind of the startups to create this environment here in Brazil, to maturity this environment in Brazil. I know that now you are scratching the surface only, because the beginning of the beginning. But
the beginning of the beginning. That's great.
Yes. But I think that this marketing is growth a lot, because, for example, not only for to become a unicorn, but for example for the corporate ventures, for try to have a refresh in big companies. Now you see a lot of open innovation and screening in big companies. So not for disrupted, but for example, to give a refreshness in the big corporates. I think this is the reason why I believe in this marketing.
I agree. That's a good word, refreshing. And I think that's the point. And we mentioned this before we started the program. Years ago, what was considered traditional industrial type businesses it's not that they don't exist anymore. They have gone through a transformation, and I'll use your word, they have refreshed themselves, because a company today, if they don't refresh the company, they don't exist anymore.
Yes,
this is bankrupt, or somebody's going to buy them, or they're out of the market. It's just, there's no path to not refreshing.
Exactly. It's not, as I said in the beginning, now is not option. Is a terms of the survivor. For example, before the pandemic, you want to change the digital transformation, etc. But now, if you don't transform it, you're
done.
You die. Exactly.
Well, I think we're going to see that as we look down your road, as you mentioned, 10 to 20, 30 years from now. I think we're going to see the pre-pandemic and post-pandemic in the world is a line in the sand. It's a new line. It's a new starting point. And as we say, talking about the future, it's from now on. It's not the past. What happened has happened. It's not going to come back. So it has to be on new things, of new processes, of immortality that you mentioned, which is actually that's a fine point. That's an interesting point, because I don't know anybody who says, I want to die. No, you don't want to die. You want to live, and you want to live well. And that's the incentive. What we do need are solutions, because more people will live longer. Even in Brazil, yes, we have a higher population of aging. Aging is another word for immortality, but it also opens up a market for innovation.
Absolutely, yes. This is one topic, one subject that you're talking about many times in the Future Hacker, is the future of work,
right?
Because imagine, as you said, for example, if you extend the life, you have to have employee for this new age, no?
Right.
So, and we're talking about what the possibilities for the future of work. And I don't know if you listen about Melissa Valentine is a professional assistant for Stanford, and 2 years ago she told about Flash organization. I don't know if you know about this.
Flash organization.
Yes, Flash organization. What is? You have some projects that you put on cloud, mm-hmm, and you submit to participate in these projects. Mm-hmm. It's the project for around the world,
right?
And imagine, for example, if you have I don't know what the regulation now, but imagine that you can participate in 5 and 7 projects in different parts of the world with the people absolutely different. Mm-hmm. It's very nice. It's a similar personal blockchain.
It could be.
So this is I know that is not for all the jobs, but for example, for creative, for technology, etc., is you can, because for example, if you have one complex project, United States, and you have a competence for UX, I can submit my competence there. I can work in this project. So I believe, I remember that when I heard about this. I see. I think it's long, 10 years to have this event. And now, during this pandemic, I said I can't. I don't see 2 years for this happens.
Right.
Because
but we could see that, and I think that gets back to our original point of any company, technology or otherwise, needs to understand that there's a world. And for me personally, for you personally, what you've done. I think many people, when they think about work, and you mentioned, the future of work, we tend to think of a job. We tend to think of one place doing something for one company and being paid for whatever it is, right? That concept doesn't exist. So we as a supplier, me, Tom Reaoch as a supplier, you as Andre Chaves as a supplier, right? We need to exchange what we have and know for value. And that exchange of value, that it could, what you add is value in many parts of the world. It's not only in Brazil. Perfect. It's really, we will all become, I think, we will become time-sharing elements. And the future of work will be that. I may be able to work 15 minutes for somebody in China, 35 minutes for somebody in Croatia, 10 minutes for somebody in South Africa, because maybe that's what they need. And we're talking about fintech. There will be a way, there is a way today of receiving money in exchange for that value, right? So we can work. We can work in various places at the same time and be able to receive payment for all that work. So that's today, right?
Today. And one thing, only to add this, the different subject that you like. For example, I can work in one voluntary project in Africa, but I can work in a project in future in the United States. I can't. So I think that the people have how many options and competencies,
right?
And sometimes you close and only one specific function for one subject. Okay, I work for 30 years in one company, do the same project. I'm crazy. It's very crazy because, for example,
at the end you're going to get a watch that nobody uses a watch anymore. So,
yes. Yes.
No, here's an example. You're working right now. We're working. You're offering your services at the same time for 4 different organizations, right?
Yes, I'm beta test for myself.
But that's it. You're offering your services at Squadra. You're offering your services here at the Future Hacker, right? At Leme. So you can be a multifunctional, multi-platform person. That's you're not in the future. You're reality, right? You're practicing.
Yes, it's not, but it's not common that the people accept this because. You have to I think how to say, I have to have a discipline when you have this kind of different occupations.
Right.
If I have a discipline of the time, to put the right energy for some projects in determinate projects. So I think this is the big challenger for this kind of. Try to not to put your mind or try to put much energy in one project is not well prepared for this.
Or even the same energy and the same result of that energy, you can divide that amongst 4 different. It's just a question of adapting, right?
Yes, in terms of my personal wishes, I think now I'm complete myself because I'm working only projects that I believe that I want, and I can share my time. As you said, I sell my time for each project. And so if you imagine if this future of work, this mindset could be a trend. Imagine how rich imagine the combined the competence for the China with the for France. Imagine the blended that you can build,
and that's the blend.
Yes,
and that's the answer. And talking about sharing, unfortunately, we're coming to the end of our time, Andre. But I want to thank you for sharing this time, your input. And your thoughts with Talk to Brazil, okay?
Okay, perfect.
And for our listeners, you can find more about Andre Chaves on LinkedIn. That's Andre Chaves, ANDRECHAVES. Or on his site, which is lemegrowth.com.br. That's LEMEGROWTH.com.br. Thanks again, Andre.
Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you, and congratulations for your nice podcast.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank our audience and our sponsor, Focus MI Market Intelligence. Focus MI specializes in market research in the Brazilian agricultural market. More about them on their site, focusmi.com. Visit our website, talktobrazil.com. That's TALK, Find our previous shows of Talk to Brazil, which are also available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and many more. Remember, when you talk to Tom, you talk to Brazil and the world. Goodbye, and thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to Tom Reaoch on Talk to Brazil, the business connector to Brazil.